سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين واللعنة الجارية على أعدائنا أجمعين إلى قيام يوم الدين. We were discussing about the interpretation of the Quran. What is the tafsir of the Quran? Tafsir of the Quran, according to Sayyid al-Khu'i, trying to find out what was the intention of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala behind His word. How can I find out that? Look at the system in which Quran was descended. What type of linguistic system was that? The linguistic system was not different than any other language system, which is depending on the literal meaning, unless if there is a clue which diverts the literal meaning to the secondary or metaphorical meaning. So that was what we mentioned. So now there is this word ta'wil, tafsir and ta'wil. So tafsir, tafsir and ta'wil. Scholars, they have different opinion about what is tafsir and what is ta'wil. So basically, Sayyid al-Khu'i says, to me, tafsir and ta'wil is same. They are synonyms for each other. You see? So what is tafsir and ta'wil? So Sayyid al-Khu'i says, when you understand a word which has only one meaning, that is not called tafsir. Because that word has one meaning. So to know the intention of Allah, obviously that one meaning is the intention of Allah. Otherwise Allah would have used another word if He wanted another meaning. So He said, if you understand something which doesn't have layers of meaning, that is not tafsir. That is not tafsir. Tafsir is if whenever we have upper meaning, lower meaning, primary meaning, secondary meaning, literal meaning, metaphorical meaning, that's when we need to know, oh God, what did you intend with this word? Did you intend literal meaning? Or did you intend metaphorical meaning? So did you intend the upper meaning or the hidden meaning? So if there is a clue, we refer to the intellectual system. If there is a clue, then yes, we go to the secondary. Otherwise, it's the first. So this is where zahir, istadhiru. Take the zahir and leave the batin. Take the apparent, leave the unapparent. This is tafsir to Sayyid al-Khu'i. But if the word has one meaning, then that's not tafsir. You know what the meaning is, and that's it. So tafsir is seeking the intention of Allah whenever there's a confusion, so many meanings. What did Allah intend? So let's go to the system of in which Quran was descended. So for Sayyid al-Khu'i, tafsir and ta'wil is said. Now here's a fascinating discussion about mutashabih, allegorical verses in the Quran. Mutashabih, things where people they get confused. Okay. Allegorical verses in the Quran are of two types. One is that we don't know what the meaning is. Even in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, they did not know. Or a word which has a word which has two meanings. It's not one primary, one secondary. Both are primary. Both are primary. In Arabic, they call it mushtarak. What they call in Arabic?
Mushtarak.
Mushtarak. Ishtirak. So I can't decide, this is an apparent meaning or this is an apparent meaning. Which one is more obvious? Which one? That's a confusing state. So that's where mutashabih comes in, allegorical understanding. So which meaning should I go? So now we have in the Quran mutashabih, words mutashabih. So why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put mutashabih in the Quran? Mutashabih, like allegorical verses, like people they don't know or they get confused or something like that. So let's see the giants, the thoughts. Why did Allah put some riddle type things in the Quran? Some of them words like in Quran, says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has kept mutashabih in it. I think my perfume, this fly loves my perfume so much. Because I gave the break, come on, get out of here. Before the time was over and started hovering around. So I said I'm doing something wrong. So I had to give break. Then I was relieved. But now I just give the break. Now I think the sugar and tea is, remember Conjuice Makichus phenomenon? The fly dipped into the tea. So just be careful. Don't be the lucky person where the fly chooses your cup to have a morning bath in it. Okay? And it's a big one, juicy one. So, why did Allah keep allegorical verses in the Quran? Anyone wants to share? Something which is two meanings, something several meanings, something which I don't know which meaning to take, or sometimes I don't know what did it mean.
Is it like to make you go out of your way to find out what's the
Yes, because Quran is an intellectual book. So Quran wants to provoke thoughts. Think. Well, don't be stagnant. If the book was all clear, everything, people would not have thought and done research. And so Quran wants people to move your mind. Let it think. Tadabbur. Contemplate. So that is one of the purposes of the Quran, that you would if you have something like that, you would try to think, what did Allah mean? What was the intention of Allah? You'll try to do research. You'll try to look into the other ayats of the Quran. So you will try your best to try to get the meaning. What did Allah mean? So that's one. There are several factors. Our ulamas, they mention existence of the allegorical verses. So you said one, that to provoke thoughts, to promote the intellectual. It's an intellectual training. Train your intellect. You see? Anyone else?
Well, the Quran challenged to bring an ayat like it, or 10 ayats like it. If it was a simple book, then people would have been able to bring ayats like it. So by including ayats like this, ayats which we don't know the direct meanings to, nobody could challenge the Quran.
Okay. That can be taken into consideration. Okay. But the challenging aspect is different. The concept is okay. But in what ways? That's one of the things. You want to add something?
Maybe just to give importance to those people who know the actual meaning, so that you
Yes.
can go refer to them
Exactly.
to know the actual meaning.
فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ. Ask the people of knowledge, people of Ahlul-Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam. Because Rasulullah is dhikr, Ahlul dhikr is Ahl of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So ask the people, ask Ahlul Bayt if you don't know. So if Quran was clear, people would not have come to Imam Ali alayhi salam, ask him. So Abu Bakr was asking Imam Ali about so many issues. Omar was asking. Even Omar said that if it was not for Ali, Omar would have been perished. You see? So Uthman would ask, even Muawiyah, the arch enemy of Imam Ali alayhi salam, would ask Imam Ali in troubled times. You see? So therefore, if Quran was all easy, the fadilat or the merits of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam would not have been so obvious, that they have deep knowledge referred to them. So even the companions, and this is accepted by even Sunni school of thought that Imam Ali's title is Imam. They don't call Abu Bakr Imam. They don't call Omar Imam. No, but Imam Ali is Imam. So Imam means a leader in knowledge and leader in everything. So he was the guide. He was the leader. So therefore, because they are the first people to separate the church and the state. You need this separation from between the church and state. It happened after the death of Prophet ﷺ. They said, Ali ibn Abi Talib, you are not expert in politics, so we will take care of the politics. But yes, you are our Imam. So religion, politics, church, state. So they are the first people to bring the separation between the church and the state in Islam. Otherwise, the Prophet ﷺ had the church and the state like Islam. He was the political leader plus the religious. And when the time Imam Ali ﷺ became the political leader, the church and state became together back again. Then after Imam Hassan ﷺ is what it was made apart. Okay, so Muawiyah would come. Please come in. Muhammad Abbas, can you please bring him a chair? Thank you so much. So, alaykum assalam. So Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam brought back the church and the state. So religion, politics, the leader was one. But so that's why in the time of the first three caliphs, they would consider Imam as a religious authority, religious leader, religious. But politics, no. So whenever they have problems, religious problems, they would come to Imam Ali. Or any other problems, they will seek guidance. Because they know that Prophet ﷺ said, "A'lamukum Ali," the most knowledgeable amongst you is Ali. So that's why this answer is yes, that if everything in Quran was clear, then the position of Ahlul Bayt, it was a way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made people refer to Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam by keeping allegorical verses in the Quran. Go seek clarification. But not just that, even in the time of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, people would come and seek clarifications of the ayat of the Quran. Imam Abu Hanifa, the Imam of Ahl Sunnah, Imam Shafi'i, all these Aimma of Sunnah, religious leaders of the Sunnah, they would come and seek clarification from Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam. So therefore, if it was not for allegorical verses, they would not go and refer to Ahlul Bayt. What else? Would anybody like to add one that to provoke thought? Think. That's one of the main theme of the Quran. Second, to refer to Ahlul Bayt alayhi because they are the other half. One half is Quran, other half is Ahlul Bayt. Both were left by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Any other thing? Remember we spoke about the mountain. So I give you a clue.
The concepts which are not very clear at that point.
Yes. The allegorical verses, they have this flexibility. Remember, Quran is an eternal book. Quran is a global book. So if everything has one meaning and clear in one time, that this book would die, you see, would not be applicable. But Quran, because of these allegorical verses, which people might understand it in a time differently than other time. So that keeps the Quran living, a living book. So the mountains are moving. They understood in a different way. Now they understand in a different way. You see? So even the knowledge as it expands, it helps the elaboration of the Quran. Let me give you one thing, another example. قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ. You all read قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ, correct? You learned it in the madrasa. You have memorized it also, correct? If you are afraid of jinns and snakes and roaches and all these kind of things, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ is your protection. You see? If you recite this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protects you. So make sure that you guys memorize it, okay? So قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ. Say, I seek refuge to the Lord of, what is the tafsir? Lord of? Huh? Minimum? What did he say? Mini something?
No, I said universe.
Universe. Okay. Falaq, you are Arabic. What does falaq mean? Sky. Falaq. Imam Ali alayhi salam is called Faliqul Hamat. No, that's not Imam Ali alayhi salam.
No, the meaning for it.
Falaq. Imam Ali is Faliq, the slicer of the heads. Okay? Falaq. Faliq. With a qaf. Okay. Okay, let me bring you more clue. Say I seek refuge to the Lord of Falaq. At this point I'll see Falaq. There's a tafsir al-Riwa'i. It says Lord of the Dawn. Lord of the Dawn. Now Falaq is in no way dawn. If you open the Arabic dictionary, you will not find Falaq means dawn. No way. You see? Falaq does not mean. So this is a tafsir based on hadith narrated explaining this Falaq in that time. That Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam said that when dawn comes out, there's a metaphor. That means the night splits. Falaq means split. Remember Faliqul Hamad, slicer strikes the heads of the enemies. Imam Ali alayhi salam, Falaq. Okay, so as this night is a dome, and the dawn comes out like this, the light starts to come out like this, and then it becomes white thread and the dark thread. This inshallah next week we are going to discuss this in the verses of law. Okay, so it's like something opening up, a dome opens up and the light starts to spread in the sky, and it becomes like whiteness of the day and darkness of the night, two threads. You see? So now here, this falaq, from that Imam used as a metaphor for the people of that time to understand. Say, I seek refuge to the Lord of the dawn. You see? Lord of the dawn. Because all the fear comes at night mostly. But when the sun rises, the fear starts to fade away. So that's the dawn. Means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect you, and He is like the dawn. Keep your fear away from your heart, which is like the night. The fear is like the night. And so Allah is your protector, because most of the insects, snakes, scorpions, all these things come now. The people, they get freaked out by jinns at night, you see. So these nights are a little bit scary for many people traditionally. Now let's talk about the modern meaning of falaq. Allah did not say dawn. So that means there's a room for contemplation. So what did Allah mean? See, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ مِنْ شَرِّ مَا خَلَقَ. Say, I seek refuge to the Lord of Falaq from the evil things which are in His. He created things which have some evil potentials and positive potentials. But the evil potentials, I'm afraid of those evil potentials. So snake is good and snake is bad. Everything Allah created has both. We human, we have good side, we have bad side. Our bad side can end up like Yazid. Our good side can end up like Hazrat Abbas or those noble personalities. You see? So we have also potential of being good or being bad. So the animals, the creation, everything can have good thing, bad thing. This desk which you're sitting on it, or not sitting on it, sitting beside it. So this desk, the good side is it's helping you. But let's say one day you are walking and you accidentally hit your knee on this corner and or something, so you will get the evil of it. But it was not created for evil, but you will get that kind of pain. So I am seeking refuge, the Lord of Falaq, from the evil of the creation, the potential evil of the creation. Okay? Because Allah did not create evil, but Allah create things which has both potentials. So now we come to this ayat. So Falaq, what are the things they have this splitting? Falaq means, remember, split. Splitting. What are the things in our life? Come on, this is science. You see, you're more giants and more expert in science. What are the things which have characteristics? Split. Allah's, you see tafsir al-Quran bil-Quran, Allah gives us clues also. In Allah, faliqul habbi wan nawa. Remember Imam Ali, faliqul hamad. So Allah says, Allah is the splitter of the seeds and pits. You know the dates, we don't call the dates seeds. Nawa in Arabic we call them, the nucleus, nawa. And for the seeds, those dal and chana and all these kind of things, these are seeds. So if you put the seed in the ground or the nawa, pits of the dates in the ground, so it split opens and the plant comes out. You see? So these are creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala which are produced by splitting open. So I can easily say I seek refuge to the Lord of the plants from the evil of the creation. Okay? Of what He created. Min sharri ma khalaq. But then you look at the animal kingdom. Do we have the same thing in animal kingdom? The splitting process. Have you studied biology? Amoeba. Amoeba is not my auntie. Okay. Does anybody know who's amoeba? No? Yes. Those unicell creatures. You see? So those small creatures, microscopic creatures. Our cells, all these cells. You know they expand by splitting. So the nucleus splits and then they become two amoebas. Our cells, they split, they become more cells. You see? So the human being, when the fertilization of the egg happens, then this fertilized egg splits into two, and 2 into 4, and 4 into 16. 16. It's like the 4 is 16. So it keeps it. And then we have this creation. The fetus is created. So don't we have splits here? So I can easily say that Lord of the living things. Say I seek refuge to the Lord of the living things from the evil of what we created. Okay? But then one of my teachers, he said that why do you limit living things? Why not the whole creation? How was this creation formed? Now Westerners also, they say Big Bang Theory. Why are you laughing? So Big Bang Theory. You see, what happens? Quran says, haven't you seen that the heavens and the earth, they were in a cluster? Okay? فَفَتَقْنَاهُمَا. They got split. Remember split? So the whole universe has been created from splitting of this cluster. So I can easily say that the living and the non-living things, everything has been created from the splitting of the things. Splitting of atoms, splitting of molecules, splitting. So there's a lot of splitting going on in the creation. Okay? Now, let's come back to the ayah. قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ مِنْ شَرِّ مَا خَلَقَ. So on the other side, it's whatever evil was created, or whatever potential evil was created. Okay? So there is a creation here. So if I put the meaning of falaq, the creation, it will be perfectly a balanced meaning. Say I seek refuge to the Lord of the creation from the evil of what was created, or evil of the creation. Okay? Min sharri ma. So creation. A perfectly balanced meaning. That means I am seeking refuge to Lord from everything. You see? Like if I'm walking and I hit my knees with this corner, So, Qul a'udhu bi rabbil falaq protects you from every single thing from the virus, bacteria, all these kind of things, you see? So there's a kind of a better meaning, a stronger meaning. We don't say that Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, but Imam Sadiq, if he would have mentioned all this splitting and atoms and this and that, people would have said, what's he talking about? So he gave them the meaning which was more comprehensive, more understandable in their time. You see? So that's how, otherwise we'll say, okay, that's it. Oh, don't say something against Imam Sadiq. That means we are going to fix the Quran. Quran will become stagnant. No, Quran has been meant to, every tadabbur must happen in the Quran. Contemplation, think and think and think. And that's how Quran is a living book. You see, there are lots of examples in the Quran where you can see that sometimes the modern scientific meaning is more literally, has more in-depth meaning from the traditional ancient meanings. So that is how allegorical verses help us. Other than that, like thought process, like we have these allegorical verses, they said no, we can't do anything. No, we have to ponder. Like for example, the beginning letters of some surahs, okay, so they were allegorical in that time. So how can we know? There's a new method from our ulama. They say that you can ask question to see what does that mean. So for example, Yasin. What does Yasin mean? It's one of those prefix. We say it is Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But let's look into the same ayat. Let's say we did not have hadith about that it was Prophet Muhammad. Yasin wal Quran al Hakim. That means qasam, by the Quran, which is wise. Okay, what? Who is Yasin? Who is Yasin? So Allah says, qasam, Yasin. So we will remove the qasam to see what comes more applicable to the word Yasin. Innaka laminal mursaleen. For sure, you are from the messengers. So that means Yasin is you. Innaka. So that in between is qasam. Allah says, by God, Yasin, you are from the messengers. Without any doubt. See? So the answer was in the surah. Let's take one more example. Now these are all probabilities. Okay, so you can ponder more and you can think more. So Alif Lam Mim. So we raise a question. What is Alif Lam Mim? What is Alif Lam Mim? Answer, Dhalikal Kitab. It is that book. Okay, what book? The book which La Rayba Fihi Hudan Lil Muttaqin. There is no doubt in it that it is guide to the truthful people, the righteous ones. Okay, those who fear displeasing Allah, those who have taqwa. So, because taqwa has so many meaning, I like to choose the meaning fear of displeasing Allah, not fear from Allah, fear from displeasing. So it's a very unique meaning that I'm not afraid of Allah, but I'm afraid of displeasing Him. I know He's merciful, but I'm shameful in displeasing my Allah, who's a merciful Allah. How can I go and displease Him? So I like this meaning of taqwa. So those people who fear. So there's a guidance there. So what is Alif Lam Mim? So Alif Lam Mim is a book which without doubt is guide for the righteous ones or for those who fear displeasing Allah. Muttaqeen, taqwa. So now, what is, according to our history, what is the guide for the muttaqeen? It is the Quran. So this could be another name of the Quran. Alif Lam Mim. Or could be a symbol. But then, there's another. Alif Lam Mim could be Al Muhammad's abbreviation. Because Al Muhammad, without doubt, they are guide. They are guide to the righteous ones. So Alif Lam Mim, what is Alif Lam Mim? Dhalikal Kitab. So Al Muhammad are Kitab? Yes. Metaphorically, we can take that meaning. Because Imam Ali was taught in Quran. So he's a book. And we use, like for scholars, mashallah, he's a great book, this alim. You see? So book is used in Arabic language as a metaphor for somebody who has knowledge. You see? And the same thing is that whenever you praise some alim with deep knowledge, you say, mashallah, he's speaking hadith or speaking what they say, bolta wa Quran or bolta wa something. So our Imam Ali alayhi salam and Ahlul Bayt, they were talking Quran. They were speaking Quran. They were practicing Quran. So this could be the meaning. Okay, let's take one third example of these allegorical verses. Bismillah ar-Rahman. Kaf ha ya ain sad. According to some weak narrations, Kaf is Karbala and Ha is I don't know something, and Ain is thirst of Imam Hussein, and Ya is Yazid. Once Yazid comes in, I said, no, I don't want to take that tafsir. You know, you're trying to praise Imam Hussein, but then you put Yazid in it, in a nice, beautiful, and we use this as a protection for like a tawiz, kaf fi haqqi kaf, yani bi haqqi Yazid. I don't want to take that kind of tafsir because it's a weak narration and it is used a lot. Let's see the Quran itself. Let's look at the ayat after it. Kaf ha ya ain sad. What is kaf ha ya ain sad? What? Look at the ayat after it. Can somebody tell me? Yes. So what is kaf ha ya ain sad? It's a dhikr. What type of dhikr? It's a dhikru rahmati rabbika abdahu Zakaria. These are the words which Zakaria used as a dhikr to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give him progeny. So that's why you see in many du'as we say bihaqqi kaf ha ya ain sad. You see? It could have some indirect indication of to Ahlul Bayt, to Masumin. You see? It could have some link to kalimat. You know that kalimat, which are an indication of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, that by the sake of Ahlul Bayt, you say by the sake of Muhammad and Ali and Fatima and Hassan and Hussein alayhi salam. It could be that, because by that the dua is mustajab. By so many narrations. You see? You put wasila of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. So this is a kind of dhikr of Zakaria alayhi salam. He did, from which Allah responded the dua. What are the dhikrs which Allah loves to see and loves to hear, to respond the dua? In many tafasir, in many hadith, it's dhikr of Ahlul Bayt, the wasila of Ahlul Bayt. It could be true, it could not be true, I mean the tafsir, but this is something which we try to ponder in it. Something which was allegorical, which was not known, we're trying to fix ayat with the ayat and trying to find out. So when the 12th Imam Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif comes, there'll be no such thing as allegorical. You see, this is a time we have to keep thinking and pondering. You see, and that's how the Quran is living. If everything was clear, though, we would not have a living Quran. It would have already died long time ago. So these are a few examples where we discuss about the mutashabih and we are till 6 o'clock, no? So now, before I end this session, I'll give you this one concept and then we'll take a break for 10 minutes. So tafsir. Tafsir should be done by knowledge. You see, whoever does tafsir without having foundation of knowledge, base of knowledge should choose a place in hellfire. You see, so we can't do tafsir unless we have this background of knowledge. Now, on this aspect, there are two things. First of all, you are allowed to give probabilities. Because how can you ponder without putting probabilities? Could Allah have meant this? You can't say that. That's not tafsir. You're trying to think about probable meanings. Sayyid al-Khoi, Quddasa Sirro, he says, when I was child, I was so much like, I had so much this deep love of the Quran. So I will look into the ayah. I will seek probabilities of the meaning. Then I will check the tafsir. I will check whether did I hit the meaning or not. See how he was training himself. So we are all responsible to train ourselves. Nobody's asking you to do tafsir. But let your brain move when you're reading the Quran. Try to think of probabilities and try to check out that whether you hit the meaning of mufassirin or not. That's a training process. And that is why he is one of the giants in the tafsir of the Quran, because since childhood he has been doing exercise in tafsir and tafsir and tafsir. And his tafsir was a breakthrough in the history of tafsir of the school of Ahlebait alayhi salatu wasalam. We'll see that. Another thing Sayyid al-Khuy says that when we say one should do tafsir based on knowledge, very important point. Like for example, he's going to become a zoologist like me, okay? And he's going to look into the ayat of the animal science. And then he will come to Maulana Israr and he'll say, I think this is, and he studied Arabic language, and mashallah, he mastered Arabic language. He studied tafsir, everything. So now he's a biologist, okay? He comes to Maulana Israr and said that this ayat means this. So Maulana Israr will slap on his face. And Maulana Israr will say, you will go to hellfire. You should choose your place in the hellfire because you are doing tafsir without knowledge. You're not ayatullah. You don't have a background of Islamic law, Islamic knowledge, Islamic that. So Maulana Israr will say, I will do the tafsir only because I am an ayatullah in the Islamic law. But we will tell Maulana, no Maulana, if you do that, as hypothetically we are talking, like just an example, you will choose your place in hellfire because you are not a biologist. He is a biologist and he has used his knowledge to do the tafsir of the ayat which is related to biology. Shaykhna, you are not biologist. You are in computer science, Sayyidina. So if you do any ayat which is related to data and those kind of things with the knowledge of tafsir, then you have done tafsir of the knowledge. So Sayyid al-Khuy says, whenever a medical professional does tafsir, whenever the ayat of a person needs to be a medical professional, when he does the ayat of tafsir of the ayat of medicine, a person needs to be a geologist when he does the tafsir of the geology. A person needs to be a philosopher when he does the ayat of philosophy. A person needs to be a socialist, like science? Sociologist when he does the ayat. So that means the understanding that you must be ayatullah only to be able to tafsir, that's a wrong concept. According to Sayyid al-Khuy, he said, no, the doctors can do the tafsir as long as they are very well in Arabic language and the arts of Arabic language, and they have the ground of understanding the Quran. They don't have to have fiqh law or ilm al-usul or those kind of things. They can use their expertise in explaining the Quran. So Quran has been trapped by us Muslims and by the Maulanas. Oh, you're not allowed. This is not your zone. You go to hellfire. Okay, okay, sorry. I made a mistake. Astaghfirullah, tawbah, tawbah. That has been created around. So we have trapped Islam in our culture. We have trapped Quran, and we are not allowing the Quran to prosper, because we have kept a cage around the Quran. But if you are a professional person in a certain science and you see an ayah which has something to do with your expertise, try to ponder. And if you're not Mufassir, go sit with Mufassir and share your thoughts with him and tell him that this is what I think. What do you think? What does this Arabic word mean? How many meanings are there? Can you tell me? Can you share with me? So there needs to be a committee of Mufassirin where we have an Ayatullah and where we have a doctor, an engineer, a geologist, a biologist, chemist. All these people, they need to sit together and come up with a tafsir. That's how the tafsir will come with based of knowledge. You have to be a mathematician to do the ayat which has numbers. You see, a chemist to do tafsir of the ayat which deals with the chemistry and the change of the chemical components. You see, that ayat which talks about the salt water and this water, and there are some words, the physics, like one of the ayat says that a person's heart becomes so squeezed as he goes into the sky. So people, they did not know that there's a low pressure. The more you go high, the air pressure goes low. So then So, oh no, really, it's a literal meaning that the chest becomes squeezed more and more because there is less pressure. So when you go to the mountains, you feel lack of oxygen and this kind of issues happen. So, and the Quran has used this as a metaphor, but there's a scientific concept in there for the Quran. So basically, this is what Sayyid al-Khu is trying to point out, that a person is not a scholar or profound in understanding the Quran or authentic narrations. So you need to have the Arabic language, understand the grammar, the eloquence, and all these tools which are required in the tafsir. You can't just go do tafsir. Or sit with someone who has this kind of capacity and work together. There's no problem in that. And yes, so the last thing, we will take examples of the interpretations of the Quran in our last session, and then just one amazing thing about the tafsir of the Quran. Yeah, the two points are left. One is an amazing aspect of tafsir of the Quran, and then we have this types of the tafsir of the Quran. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa alihi wa sallam.
Allahumma salli
So you can have your 5 minutes break with chais.